All right, everybody, welcome back to Sports Talk with Zack and Jason. So we are back to the usual time of foosball. Foosball. We are finally here. Week one, full preview. We have the usual suspects, kind of. We're missing Pete and Ray today. Missing Nick. They're all doing stuff right now. We got Dan back. We got, of course, Jason is here. We are going to do a full week one preview of the NFL week one. So without further ado, let's get this rolling. Let's pull up all our lists. Who wants to go first?
Well, what game we doing first?
Obviously, Thursday Night Football. We're going to go right in order.
Oh, done. I'm assuming we all have the Chiefs in this one, so I'm just gonna say I have the Chiefs going to win on Thursday Night Football against Detroit.
Yep. I also have the Chiefs beating the Lions. Home opener for the Chiefs. They're getting their ring ceremony. Very much think that the Chiefs are just gonna do what they're doing. I think it could be a very good high scoring game. It could be entertaining. So we'll see what happens.
It's gonna be a murder.
Yeah, maybe.
I've got the Lions upsetting. I think that
Okay.
I don't think anybody sees it coming. And I'm probably gonna be by myself with this opinion. That's okay. I really think that the Chiefs are gonna suffer from not having Jones to start the year. I think defensively that's going to be a huge problem for them. And they started kind of slow last year and then built up towards the end of the year. I think that this is an interesting spot where the Lions could steal some of their thunder to open the season.
Okay.
I really want you to be right, but I don't think you are.
Well, of course. Of course, we all want everyone to be right. Okay. Next is Bengals and Browns. Big division game right out of the gate in Cleveland. This is Joe Burrow's first real football action after hurting his calf in the preseason. I don't know how healthy he is. So with that in mind, I'm actually going to take Cleveland at home here. I love what they did with their team this offseason. Everyone keeps talking about the Deshaun Watson drama, but all they've been working on is football, and they've added some pieces around him. It's his first full year in the building that he's even allowed to be in the building. So I'm going to go ahead and say Cleveland at home because I don't know how healthy Joe Burrow is going to be.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. I'm 100% think that the Browns win at home in this one. I really like the Browns offense right now. I think that the chemistry between Watson and his receivers just looks perfect in training camp. Nick Chubb is still going to be like a top 3 running back this year in the league. I think it's going to be too much for the Bengals defense to hold them back. And I don't know what Joe Burrow's calf is going to look like coming into week one.
Yeah, I don't even know if Joe Burrow is going to play. So I'm with you guys. I'm rolling with the Browns. I don't think either team wins the division this year. I think the Steelers are going to win the division. I think that this injury for Burrow is a huge deal. I mean, when it first happened, they were talking like he was going to be out for months, and then now all of a sudden he's ready to play. I'm not so sure about that. I don't think that's a great idea. He's a pure pocket passer, very limited mobility to begin with, and now this is just going to make it even worse.
You might be right. I do think the Steelers will be better this year than they were last year, but I don't see them being better than Cleveland. I don't see them being better than Baltimore. I don't.
I have the Ravens.
I agree. I think Cleveland wins the division.
They have the worst quarterback in the division.
I think the Ravens will make the playoffs, but I think that for whatever reason the injury bug has been really bad there. It's probably gonna happen again. I hate to say it, to one of those backs, whether it be the quarterback or the running back, and that's gonna hurt them when it comes to winning the division. And I think that the Joe Burrow injury is going to linger. I'm just not sold on Cincinnati. I don't even have them making the playoffs.
Damn. That's big. All right. Next, we have, speaking of the Ravens, we have Ravens at Texans at Ravens in Baltimore. This is the debut of CJ Stroud, the coaching debut of what's Houston's coach?
DeMeco Ryans.
DeMeco Ryans, that's right. His coaching debut. Houston added some pieces. They're still in full-blown rebuild. Ravens added a new offensive coordinator, Odell Beckham Jr. drafted Zay Flowers. I have the Ravens in this one at home.
Yeah, this is an absolute massacre. Baltimore's winning this game by 20 plus points. It's not even close.
Yeah, this is where I'll agree with both of you again. I do think this is going to be the probably the biggest beatdown of the week. I think that the Texans just aren't anywhere. They're just nowhere near ready. I mean, this guy has to come in, try to sell these guys on a culture change and, you know, defensive minded and all that stuff. They're probably not going to score a lot of points this year. They might run the ball well because I think they will just try to run the ball a lot this year. So yeah, the Ravens are going to outscore them by a lot in this game.
That's why
That's
why Damian Pierce on my fantasy team.
He's going to eat this year.
He's going to eat.
I think that the Texans are. I think they'll win games down the road. I think early on it's going to look ugly for this team.
Yeah,
it's not going to be any good. Next we have the Vikings and Buccaneers. The Bucs have yet another new quarterback, Baker Mayfield. I don't like Baker. Baker no good. And I don't like their head coach either. I think Todd Bowles sucks. He has no real history of being a good head coach at all. They're in Minnesota. The Vikings may not have a good defense yet, but they have a new defensive coordinator. And they don't have a lot of talents on the defense, but the offense is pretty much still the same. I know they lost Dalvin Cook, but Madison has been just fine for them whenever Cook got hurt. I don't think their offense is slowing down at all. I'm sure they'll still pull up 30 points a game. So I'm taking the Vikings at home.
Yeah, the Vikings are taking this one. Justin Jefferson's going to go all off on this one. I'm not really sure what to think of Alexander Madison yet. I don't know what he's going to look like as the RB1. But in this matchup, I don't really think it matters. I think they're going to steamroll through this one to a nice early win. And Tampa Bay is just going to win 4 games this year. So,
yep, they stink.
Yeah, I agree with you guys again. I think it'll be a closer game maybe than people think. Like the Bucs might cover the spread just because the Bucs defense is still decent. It's not horrendous. And you know, the Bucs still have some playmakers on offense too. So I can't disqualify them totally from being competitive in this game. And yeah, I don't worry about Madison. I think he's looked good everywhere he's been, anytime he's had to fill in. And yeah, I got the Vikings.
Good. Next is Panthers and Falcons. This is a tough one for me a little bit. This very well could be this has matchup of the week type vibes. So this could be a better game that we think because both teams fucking suck. I think the Falcons suck a little bit more. I like their rookie quarterback way better than Desmond Ridder already. And I think there's more weapons on the Panthers. I know the Falcons have Bijan Robinson and they actually have a pretty decent young secondary. But I'm going to take Carolina. I'm not a fan of Atlanta. I don't really know if I even like their head coach. I like Frank Reich. I know that much. So I'm going to take Carolina and Atlanta.
Yeah, this was the last game that I decided on because I kind of went back and forth on it. But I ended up sticking with Atlanta to win this one. I don't think Bryce Young comes in and wins his first game in week 1. They got good young weapons. I don't think it's enough in in week one to get a win. I think that Bijan Robinson is going to come out of the gate, and I think Bijan actually makes people turn around and say, oh my God, maybe running backs kind of matter a little bit if you get a guy like this. So I think the game comes down to what can Bijan Robinson do, and Falcons are going to win the game.
I 1000% agree with you, Jason. And to go along with your Bijan Robinson point, I do think he's going to show people right away how important a player like him can be, because he's going to line up at receiver a lot. There's going to be a ton of mismatches all over the field. The Panthers looked like ass this preseason. Say what you want, say it was only preseason. I don't trust a first year quarterback, a rookie quarterback with a new head coach to be good. I just don't. So it's going to take some time. The Panthers aren't very talented, and I think the Vikings are more talented, and they have much higher upside this year. I've got them winning the NFC South this year. I think they're going to be so talented that the quarterback play just needs to be average at best. You know, Ritter doesn't have to light the world on fire for them to win the division this year.
I just don't.
I agree.
I just don't know if he could even be average. Like, that's just my problem. Like, I just think he's so fucking bad that, like, I don't know. I think Bijan's gonna get fucking 35 touches a game. I think this could be like,
in Ritter's small sample size, he hasn't looked that bad. I mean, he's looked better than people like, Jordan Love, who, a lot of people are picking the Packers to win the North. I'm not.
I'm not.
But I'm just saying, all it needs to look is, it just needs to look like quarterback play. If he can do that, they'll win the division.
He has to look competent, and if he can do dump off passes to Bijan and let him just make the moves like they think he can, this guy is the next Christian McCaffrey right here.
Yep.
Let him make the moves.
Yep, and they've got some big weapons now on the outside. London, they could put Pitts outside. They've got a basketball team when it comes to their receivers. I mean, you don't have to be very accurate. Just throw it up to those guys, let them make plays.
Yep.
All right. I've been neglecting Pete's picks, so I now have them up. He has the Lions beating the Chiefs.
Let's go, Pete.
Pete has the Bengals beating the Browns. He has the Ravens over the Texans. He also has the Vikings over the Bucks, and he's taking the Falcons as well over the Panthers. So just wanted to make sure he was included there, because I was like, wait a minute, I'm forgetting something. Next game is Arizona Cardinals at the Commanders. Any game that the Cardinals are involved in, I don't want to talk about, because they're not going to win. It's just that simple. They might have the worst head coach already. I mean, Gannon looks lost. Gannon looks like he has no idea what he's doing already. And that's a disaster. They don't have a starting quarterback announced yet. And you're supposed to start practicing this week. Like, it's just not good. I had the Commanders easily here. Like, I almost picked this as my blowout of the week, but I'm like, I don't know yet.
Yeah, I'm not going as far to say that this is the blowout of the week. I think out of all 17 games this year, this is the only one that the Cardinals, I think, have a remote chance to be in play with. But it's the Commanders are winning this game. I think Sam Howell actually has looked very good from the second half of training camp on, and I think he might actually lead them to wins this season. So I'm going with the Commanders.
Yep, I agree with both of you guys. I think that the Cardinals really, really punted on the season the second that they cut Colt McCoy. I mean, he was their most competent starter. I mean, they're telling you that they're tanking. I mean, they literally just screamed out to the whole world, okay, we know we're going to suck. We're just tanking now. We want Caleb Williams. This is what their year is for them. Michael Bidwell, their owner, has been involved in multiple scandals at this point. They're a shit organization, top to bottom. Like you guys said with the coach, I mean, that's so accurate. He looks like he's lost. And it might be the least talented team in the league. call me crazy. They could have 0 wins. So I'm not going to pick them ever this year.
They very well could have 0 wins. They're going to draft Caleb Williams. They're going to trade Kyler Murray to Minnesota when Kirk Cousins goes to San Francisco as a free agent.
I can see that.
That's just what's going to happen. I'll stamp that shit right now.
I can see it.
Next is Jaguars at Colts. This was almost my blowout of the week again. The Colts are home, but it is the debut of Anthony Richardson, debut of Shane Steichen. I love Anthony Richardson. I think he has the highest ceiling of any of the rookie quarterbacks. I think he's going to have the most impact right away due to his athleticism and his rushing ability, as opposed to maybe like Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. But let's not get this twisted. Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence within 2 years have made the Jaguars a legitimate AFC contender. They added even more weapons for Trevor Lawrence with Calvin Ridley. They improved the defense a little bit through the draft. Their defense is still probably their weakness, but they're banking on the fact that Trevor Lawrence is just going to throw 4 touchdowns a game. So I got the Jaguars in this one easily.
Yeah, the Jaguars defense is still a problem, but it's not going to be a problem for a team that's main weapon is just the quarterback. There's Michael Pittman. Like, that's all you got. You got no running back. You got no other wide receivers. You got Mo Alley Cox. Like, I'm not afraid of this team right now. You let Anthony Richardson get 100 rushing yards a game. It's not scaring me. Jaguars are absolutely going to tear them apart on offense. So let's go Jaguars on this one.
Historically, these games have been tight. Because of everything that you guys just mentioned, it's hard not to pick the Jaguars. I mean, it's usually a tough fought divisional game every year. But I think that, yeah, while the defense is looking problematic for the Jaguars, they have a pass rush that could get home at the end of the game. I think that'll win them games this year too. So, yep, I'm going with the Jags.
All right. Pete had the Commanders as well, because duh. And he had the Jaguars as well. So moving on to 49ers Steelers. This game is interesting. Playing in Pittsburgh is tough no matter how shitty the Steelers are. Those fans are insane. I just think the 49ers are so talented at every possible skill position, every possible position on defense. The Steelers defense is still really good, but the Niners have an elite defense. If Brock Purdy is anything like he was last year, I don't see the 49ers losing much at all this season. They still have a top 5 offensive line. They have a top 3 defensive line. They have the best linebacker core in football. They have an above average secondary. I mean, there's just talent everywhere on this team. They just keep fucking missing on the quarterback. And that's why I think they're going to give Brock Purdy another shot this year. He led them to the NFC Championship game last year. There's no reason for me to think that he can't do what he did last year. Maybe even better, because he's not learning on the fly now. But I think the Steelers will be better this year overall in year 2 of Kenny Pickett, and they've added a couple other pieces. But I think the 49ers are just going to be way too much for a lot of teams this season. So I'm taking the 49ers.
Yeah. This one was closer than I thought it was going to be when I was deciding it. Steelers at home is a nice feeling there, but I think that the 49ers defense is just too much. I don't think Kenny Pickett is the problem. I actually like what he showed in the preseason. He was perfect in every drive he did. Every drive he had ended in a touchdown. The guy's doing the right thing on the field. I just don't think it's enough to beat the 49ers defense. So I'm going to go San Francisco here.
I agree. I think it's going to be a really close game. I think it's going to catapult the Steelers to feeling more confident about their season after it's over, even though I think they'll lose it. Nick Bosa's back. He's going to wreak havoc. The Steelers' offensive line isn't great. That's the problem. I think it's going to strengthen as the year goes on, but this is a really tough test even at home to start the year.
All right. And Pete has the 49ers beating the Steelers as well. Next we have the Titans in New Orleans. This was also kind of a tough game for me. Because both teams are kind of similar. I think the Saints defense is better. Both offenses are kind of similar. The Saints aren't going to have they're not going to have Alvin Kamara for a bit, due to that suspension. Derrick Henry is still there. DeAndre Hopkins probably has another year or two left of really good football. But I'm going to take New Orleans at home. I think Derek Carr is so happy to not be in fucking Las Vegas anymore, and that fucking organization that kicked him out the door when he was their best quarterback probably ever, and gave him no help. So I think he has a fire lit under his ass a little bit. I'm not sold on the coach of the Saints. I love Mike Vrabel. I think this is going to be a really good close game, but I'm going to take the team that has the better quarterback. I think Derek Carr is better than Ryan Tannehill at this point. And I think their defense is better. So I'm going to go with the Saints.
Yeah, this one really wasn't hard for me, even though the line suggests that this game should be neck and neck. I'm riding the Saints really hard this season. I think that they win the division. I think Derek Carr absolutely balls out this year. He has great weapons to throw the ball to. I bet you that Michael Thomas stays healthy and doesn't complain about any injury problems, because he actually has a quarterback that is the most competent he's had since Drew Brees. Chris Olave is an absolute monster. I think he's going to dominate this season. And their defense is pretty damn good. So I think that the Saints win this game pretty easily, especially at home. I don't see the Titans doing very well this year. I think a lot of their aging stars with Derrick Henry and DeAndre Hopkins, I think their age is going to start to show this season. And so I got to go with the Saints winning this one.
I'm going to disagree with both of you. I think that this game is going to come down to coaching. I don't trust Dennis Allen. It's a new team for Derek Carr. He had to learn a new offense. I understand they're probably more talented and they're at home, but give me Vrabel in a game like this any day against who I consider a lesser coach. The Titans are still talented enough. Derek Carr has never really been able to lift the team up on his shoulders, except for that one moment before he got hurt that year. We thought he was going to be MVP. Other than that, it's never looked like that again. So I don't have faith in that. I don't trust the Saints run defense at all. I mean, they got run all over last year. So give me the Titans.
All right. Pete has the Saints. So next we have Raiders at Broncos. This was also kind of a tough one for me because both teams aren't really that good. The Broncos have a really good defense. You hope that they're better under Sean Payton. I would assume that they're going to be better under Sean Payton, but I don't trust Russell Wilson at all anymore. And with that being said, I'm gonna take the Raiders here in Denver. I know Jimmy G. I mean, Jimmy G might be better than Russell Wilson at this point. Like what
Maybe.
evidence can prove to me that Russell Wilson's better than Jimmy G right now? Probably nothing. I think he's over the hill, and I think those new owners in Denver aren't very patient. I think this is kind of like the 1 year Russell has a chance to prove himself under Sean Payton, and they don't care. They own Walmart. They'll fucking eat that contract, and they'll just be bad for a couple years. I'm taking the Raiders in Denver.
Yeah, this one was definitely neck and neck for me. Definitely game of the week type caliber division matchup here. I gotta go with Denver though. They're the home team. I'm gonna give Sean Payton the benefit of the doubt in week 1 and see if he can bring back the magic that he had when he was the head coach of the Saints, and see if he could do anything possible to revitalize Russell Wilson from last year. My confidence level in Russell Wilson is at the bare minimum, but that defense is still really good. And if that defense can do what it did last year, and Russell Wilson is anything was not win this game.
Sorry for the dog in the background, guys.
I don't even hear her.
Yeah. Listen, the way that I think about this matchup is I look at coach and quarterback. I think that there's going to be much easier synchronization for the Raiders right away than the Broncos. This is actually the third different offense for Russell Wilson in the last 3 years. This is the same offense that Jimmy G has played in New England, so he knows it already. I just think that they're going to start faster, and I think that's why they're going to win. But really, I mean, you could flip a coin here. I mean, it's
You really could.
to me, it's that close.
Yeah, you really could. Both teams aren't anything special in my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, we know who Pete picked, right? We know who Pete picked.
Let me guess. Let me guess. The Raiders.
The Raiders.
Really, I'm shocked.
This is my blowout of the week. Eagles at Patriots. I think the Patriots are dog shit. I think they're going to finish dead last in the division. I'm sure this will make Jason over here happy, but
make me happy too.
I hate the Patriots this year. I think they win 4 or 5 games, maybe. I think Bill Belichick retires. And I think the Eagles just stomp them in Foxborough.
Yeah, this is where I get to go off and say how great the Eagles are. So I'm going to take advantage of it. Jalen Carter is sacking Mac Jones 5 times this game, and that's lowballing it. I'm predicting 2 sacks for Fletcher Cox, and give me 4 interceptions for Mac Jones, please. Yeah, Philly's blowing this team out of the water. It's not even close. I don't care that Tom Brady is going to be there for whatever honor they're giving him, with retirement number or whatever they're doing for him. I don't care.
Yeah, I'm with you both, and Zach, I agree with you. This is Bill's last year with the Patriots. Simple as that. I just think I think him and Robert are going to talk at the end of the year and be like, yeah, we just need to go our separate ways at this point. It's not going to be good for the Patriots at all. You know, the strength of their team is their offensive line, and I still think they're going to get eaten alive. Between Jalen Carter, Hassan Reddick, they have way too much talent for the Patriots to hold back. I mean, the Patriots need to have success running the ball in this game, and I don't foresee that happening either. And it's a new offense for Mac Jones. I mean, this is the third offense that he's played in the last 3 years as well. He's going to have to get up to speed in that system, and the Eagles aren't going to have to get up to speed anywhere. They're already up to speed, so
yeah,
this is easy.
Agreed. Pete also has the Eagles. It's pretty simple. Next is the Rams versus the Seahawks division game. I got the Seahawks in this one. I think the Rams are nosediving pretty quickly. They still have some talent on defense, but Stafford is done. I think he's ready to hang it up as well. Cooper Kupp now had a major setback with his hamstring injury. They don't even know when he's going to be healthy. He may not be the same player ever again either after that massive year that he had. Geno Smith in the first year of his new deal with Jackson Smith and Jigba, who's planning on playing even after wrist surgery, which makes him a psychopath. I'm taking the Seahawks at home.
Yeah. With a healthy Cooper Kupp, I would have been more lenient on the Rams this year. I really did think that Matt Stafford has one more decent year in him if he's healthy. But they're no match for Seattle. Seattle's defense is pretty solid. Their offensive weapons, they have one of the best trios of wide receiver in the league right now. They're right up there. So I got to stick with Seattle winning this one.
Yeah, I agree with both of you guys. It's a divisional game. I do think it'll be close. I still think McVay's a good coach. I just think that they're void of talent right now, injury situation, quarterback questions, whether Stafford could make it through the year. Yeah, to me, the Seahawks are much better, but I still think it's going to be a close game.
All right. Pete also has the Seahawks. Next is Dolphins Chargers. This one was tough for me. Because for all intents and purposes, Miami is healthy right now. But the Chargers always put up points too, and Herbert is just amazing. This one was tough for me. Like, this is one of the probably will be one of the closest games of the week, in my opinion. Was almost my matchup of the week. That's not till later. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm just gonna pick the Chargers. I think the Chargers have the better quarterback. I think they match up well with their wide receivers against Miami's wide receivers. Both have good defenses. Mike McDaniels is probably a better coach than fucking what's his face? That's horrible. And I don't even want to mention his name for the Chargers. But I just think Herbert's that good. I just think he's going to be better, and I'm going to take the Chargers at home.
Yeah, this was actually my matchup of the week. The storyline is there. Tua versus Herbert. Put them together and actually see what was the right decision for Miami.
I think we know that, though.
Right now, Tua's healthy. We do, but Tua's healthy right now. So
yeah, right now
it's hard. That's why it's a very difficult game to decide because, like you said, with Miami healthy, it's difficult. I still went with the Chargers, mainly because they're the home team, so I gave them the edge being at home. But I mean, this is going to be back and forth. They're both going to put up a lot of points. I expect Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill to both score. I expect Mike Williams and Keenan Allen to both score. It's going to be a very tight match.
and Quentin Johnston. There's Quentin Johnston there now.
Mhm.
Yeah, I don't think he scores in this one. I think I'm not going to give him week 1 scoring, but he's going to take over that offense by like week 5.
Yeah, I don't trust either defense. I'll tell you that right now. A lot of people are talking about how good the Dolphins defense is going to be. I don't see it. And they're missing Ramsey now to start the year. That's a problem. I think this is going to be a track meet. I think it's going to be very high scoring. It's my game of the week. I think it's going to be close, but I think that the Chargers win by 3.
All right. Pete has the Dolphins. So it looks like we're all kind of split on this one. Next is Packers versus Bears in Chicago. This also is going to be a really good game. Jordan Love looked good in preseason. Looked pretty decent in preseason. Justin Fields has more weapons around him now with DJ Moore. They got that new offensive lineman, but he's going to start the season off hurt. So we're kind of back to square one with the offensive line in Chicago. Green Bay still has a decent secondary. They still have a decent defense overall. We're going to find out how good of a coach LaFleur actually is now. We're going to find out if Eberflus is a good coach. I'm going to go with Chicago. I think Justin Fields might do his thing and run around all over the place again. DJ Moore is going to be a big help to him. I think they're going to throw the ball more this season because of DJ Moore. But just because the Packers are still very much a question mark to me, even though I did like what I saw out of Jordan Love in the preseason. But I'm going to take the Bears at home. I think if they were in Green Bay, I might have taken Green Bay, but because they're in Chicago, I'll just take them in Chicago.
I didn't even second guess myself on this one. I'm going Green Bay all the way in this matchup. Green Bay is, I believe, 8-0 in September games so far against Chicago. They own this team. I don't care who the quarterback was in those 8 games. I don't see Chicago improving their offensive line any. When they had all the money to do so, they didn't do much. They didn't do enough to protect this team. They didn't do enough on defense. I don't think they can beat the Packers. My expectations for Chicago's season this year are not very high. I think that Justin Fields improves, but I don't think they did enough elsewhere to really stay in contention. So I think the Packers win this game.
I think that this is going to be a breakout year for Justin Fields. I think he's improved as a passer. I like the additions that they made. Yeah, the line is going to be shaky, but my man could run around. It's never been a problem for Lamar Jackson. The running game might hurt a little bit for them, but the Packers are more talented overall. Defensively, they're more talented than the Bears, but they fall flat on their face all the time. So I don't trust them. I think that Fields is going to make more plays than Love, just because I've seen it, and I have to go by that right now. So I'm picking the Bears.
All right. Pete has the Packers. So another game that we're kind of split on, which is pretty cool. Next is Sunday Night Football. Cowboys at Giants. Huge game. I mean, maybe one of the biggest week 1 games for the Giants in I don't know how long. This is my upset. I'm going to homer a little bit. The Giants starters looked really good in preseason. I know it was against the Panthers, but I'm gonna preface this by saying I do think the Cowboys win the division. I have them winning the division this year. I have them winning around 12 games, and I do have them beating the Giants later in the season. I just don't think they win this one. I think the Giants take this one at home in a very close game, maybe decided by 3 or to 6 points. But I think the Giants are going to shock people this year. I see them maybe winning 9 games again, maybe even 10. They added Darren Waller. Jalen Hyatt looked great in preseason. The defense is improved, and they have the coach of the year. So how can I not be excited? How can I not be confident that they at least take this first game from Dallas at home on a huge stage? So I'm taking the Giants. My upset of the week.
Yeah, that Dallas is winning this game. 3.5-point favorites on the road is pretty significant, especially in a division game. That's just telling me something that Vegas knows the actual gap in talent between Dallas and the Giants this year. Giants got to show me something. They got to show me that they can contend with the big boys of Dallas or more talented teams before I start jumping on the wagon that you're already on and that level that you're on. I got Dallas winning this one. I don't see how they lose in week 1.
So just out of respect for the rivalry, which it is a rivalry, and both of these teams take huge pieces out of each other when they play each other every year. I'm also used to seeing the Giants winning in Dallas and Dallas winning in MetLife Stadium. I think that's going to continue. I've got the Cowboys winning the opener, even though I don't have them making the playoffs. I think they're going to be a good team, and they're gonna beat good teams this year. They're also going to lose to bad teams this year because I don't trust Dak anymore. There's something's not right in the air there. The trading for Trey Lance had a lot more to do with Dak and the money that he's making than anything else, in my opinion. It's Jerry Jones posturing for a change. If Dak doesn't hold up this year, and if he keeps turning the ball over, it's going to be real easy for them to lose. So
they just paid their right tackle again too. Like they just gave $86 million to their right tackle this morning. Like where are they going to get this money for Dak? Like I don't understand.
Well, the thing is they're already paid. They believe that they're paying them too much. That's what I believe. I think that Jerry Jones is pissed that Dak is making the money that he's making against the cap. And it's preventing them from them continuing to build the team out and add players. And I think that it's all going to come to a head at the end of this year. I've got the Eagles winning the division and the Giants in the wild card. I got the Giants going to Dallas later this year and winning. But to open up the season just out of respect for the rivalry, and the Cowboys are a little more talented right now. I think they'll get by and they'll figure out a way to win this game. Would not be shocked if the Giants won. I think Daniel Jones is better than Dak Prescott.
Whoa. That's a soundbite right there.
I had him rated higher on my list than Dak Prescott.
That's true. That's true. He did. You had him at number 11, I believe.
Yes, I did.
And you know what? You're not the first person in sports media to say that. So it is what it is.
That's how I feel.
Monday Night Football. Well, Pete has the Cowboys, so I'm the lone Giants Giants homer here, of course. But you know what, Dan, that was a really good point. The Giants do win a lot in Dallas. When they do
And
beat Dallas, they beat them in Dallas for whatever fucking weird ass reason.
it's really weird. And the Cowboys win a lot against you guys when you guys are home. It
Yeah,
doesn't
it's
seem to
weird.
matter what type of team either team has. It just seems to be the trend. So I'm sticking with the trend.
That's true. I do think they split this year. So,
Mhm.
Monday Night Football, my game of the week. Jets Bills in MetLife Stadium. MetLife Stadium gets 2 back-to-back nationally televised games. I'm taking the Jets. I'm just doing it. I think the Bills are a little overrated this year. I do still think Josh Allen is an elite quarterback. There's just something brewing there. I don't know if Stephon Diggs does really want to stay. I know he's come out and said, "Oh, I don't want to get traded," blah blah blah. I think that's damage control. I think when someone is that angry and refuses to come to off-season OTAs and shit like that, and is going on Instagram going, "All you fuckers are lying," and like blah 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 blah. I think there's a lot of tension in Buffalo, and I'm not sold on them. I think they make the playoffs as a wild card. I have the Jets winning the division. I have the Jets beating them here on Monday Night Football and Aaron Rodgers' debut. I think it's a close game. I think it's not high scoring, but like middle scoring, like 24-21. Because the Jets defense is really good, and the Bills defense is good too, but I don't think it's as good as the Jets. I think the Jets win.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna be the odd one on this one just because I'm pretty sure I know Dan's pick. But I'm picking Buffalo here. I think Vegas kind of wants you to pick the Jets based on the line, getting, I believe, 2.5 points. I think they're just begging you. They're like, Aaron Rodgers on this team, like, take the points, take this, they're home, take all that. I'm not buying it. I think they know Buffalo's winning this game. I think they know Josh Allen is going to come out healthy and strong. And I don't think that the Bills are the same team that they were, the last 2 or 3 years. But I think that they win this game. I think the Jets also win 11 games this year, and they're good. But this one, it's going to be nail biter, and I think the Bills end up pulling it off, though.
I respect that. I think the window is closing on the Bills. Just based on Zach, you already touched on a lot of what I was going to say about the Bills. Um, McDermott's under fire right now. A lot of people are talking about Saleh being on the hot seat. The Super Bowl window is wide open for the Jets right now. I don't know how open it is for the Bills. I think McDermott's seat's a little hotter than Saleh's is right now, and especially with everything that happened to end the year last year and over the entire course of the offseason. Zach, what have I always told you? Wherever there's smoke, there's fire.
Yep.
When it comes to NFL rumors, I mean these things don't usually come out of nowhere. I tend to
There's
believe a lot of what I heard, what I've been hearing about the relationship between Allen and Diggs. I think it's a huge deal.
I think
There's
it's a
only
huge
so
deal.
much that listen, he's a tank. Josh Allen is a tank, and he has put this team on his back before. Can he do it again? Sure. To me, it's been made a lot harder now, and this guy has been hit a lot already. He's going to continue to get hit with the style of play that he has. With Rodgers and the Jets, the ball's going to be out in 2 seconds, 2 seconds flat every time. There's going to be very few times this season where the Jets are going to ask Rodgers to um, scramble around and make Hail Mary passes. It's just they're not going to ask him to do that this year. They're going to base it on the running game and the defense. I just think that that's more sound right now than Buffalo's strategy, which is put everything on Josh Allen and see what he can do for you. I don't think that's sustainable, and that's why I don't think the Bills are making the playoffs. I have the Dolphins making the wild card over the Bills, and yeah, it's going to all start on Monday. I think people are going to see that window shut on the Bills. I think they're done for now, at least until they get the situation figured out. So yeah, I got the Jets winning by about 10 points. I think the crowd's going to be crazy, guys. It's 9/11, and that crowd is going to be fucking nuts. You talk about the introduction of a Hall of Fame quarterback on a team that's had one, and that's it, and nothing even close to that. And man, these fans are going to be freaking foaming from the mouth. I'm so excited. The energy that we're going to feel, it's going to be, you're going to be able to cut it with a knife. And I think the Bills are going to feel that. And like we said, there's already a lot of pressure on them. So might seem like a homer pick, but and not in an totally unbiased way. If I were just an outsider looking in, fan of either team, I would pick the Jets.
I did. Pete has the Bills. So another game where we're kind of split on, which we had a lot towards the end here. But yeah, I mean, touching back on that relationship between Diggs and Allen, I don't think it boils over like this season. If they start losing, I think it boils over, and it might come to the
Let me
point
stop
where
you. It's already been boiling over.
that's
It,
true.
it it boiled over a little bit at the end of last year. So what's to stop it?
I agree. I think a divorce is coming. That's just my opinion. I think a divorce is coming, and I got a pretty good idea of what team might trade for him, and they're my team. So I think Diggs had a serious relationship with Brian Daboll. I think that team is missing Brian Daboll big time. And the Giants are already keeping tabs on the Mike Evans situation in Tampa Bay. Any disgruntled really elite wide receiver one that wants to get neither not does you know that doesn't isn't getting paid, say like Mike Evans by Tampa Bay, or if it's just Stephon Diggs, it's like fuck all you motherfuckers, like get me out of here, trade me, I don't care. Giants already got tabs going out, so we'll see what happens. Anything else we want to touch on a little bit? Is there what's your fantasy player of the week actually?
Oh, that's a good point. I forgot. Let me give you a good one. Give me a second. I'll give you a good one. Oh, Lamar Jackson.
There you go.
There you go.
Lamar Jackson. That's a solid one.
I think it's going to be between two guys, either Justin Fields or Bijan Robinson. I'm leaning towards Bijan Robinson at the moment.
I hope so.
I'm gonna go Justin Jefferson against at home against the Buccaneers. But I was also thinking Bijan. I think he's gonna have a big time debut for fantasy purposes. Any kind of like
People aren't ready for the amount of times that he's going to line up at receiver. I'm telling you, he's going to line up at receiver. Probably a third of his snaps are going to be at receiver because
he's getting 300 plus touches this year. Like it's going to be ridiculous.
And remember, the Falcons already have running backs they like on that team, so they're going to keep getting work too. Bijan's going to get a lot of work at receiver, especially to start the year. That's my prediction.
I'm cool with that.
What fantasy name do you have as like a sleeper? What's like a sleeper pick for you this week in terms of the fantasy player?
Let me think of one.
You know, he shouldn't be a sleeper at this point, but I'm going to go Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think he's going to light it up against the Chiefs.
I think you're right too. I honestly don't even consider him a sleeper. I mean, he's a top 5 fantasy wide receiver this year. Easily.
Well, I think just because of the matchup, and I know most people are going to pick the Chiefs. I think because of the matchup alone, you know, people might have him as kind of an afterthought, but the Chiefs defense is not great. It really isn't. And
it's never really great.
Well, the line's been good, but now I don't think it's going to be good now.
Yeah, you might be right.
I think that Jahan Dotson would be a good sleeper this week. A guy that maybe a lot of people are either maybe just putting in their flex or they're just not sure and they're keeping him on their bench this week. They're going against the Cardinals. This might be the perfect opportunity for Dotson to kind of ball out in week 1 and cement his name in the wide receiver core on the Commanders.
I've got one more for you. How about Van Jefferson? You know, with Cooper Kupp being hurt, and I think the Rams are going to be struggling a lot this year. There's a PPR monster for you right there, Van Jefferson. Wide receiver 1 for the Rams.
I'm thinking kind of like a sleeper pick for me this week. Um Honestly might be Michael Thomas. It might be Michael Thomas against the Titans. You know, he's healthy by all intents and purposes. Hasn't nursed one injury yet throughout the entirety of the offseason, has participated in everything. He very well could be healthy. I also have Anthony Richardson maybe being a sleeper this week because I just think he's going to run the ball a lot. I think he's going to run more than people think. Um, and I love Calvin Ridley this week. I love Calvin Ridley this week. Debut for the Jaguars I think is going to be huge.
Yeah, Calvin Ridley is going to have himself a good season. I know everyone's like really hyping him up a lot. There's a lot of mouths to feed on Jacksonville. Like, I'm not going to say that Calvin Ridley's, this top 5 receiver in the league just because they're volume wise, they're going to spread the ball around to everybody. You still got Christian Kirk. You still got, Travis Etienne and Tank Bigsby, who apparently they really like.
I know
And
you
Evan Ingram
bastard.
is a
Someone
PPR
fucking
guy.
took him from me yesterday. Did
I
you?
wonder
You
who
took
did
him,
that.
right? Yeah, you did. You
Yeah, I did.
You motherfucker. I was like, son of a bitch. Oh shit. All right. Well, we're actually at the 51-minute mark, which is pretty good. Was there anything specific that we wanted to touch on, or we kind of good to go for the rest of our Labor Day weekend?
You guys want to do division winners and wild card predictions real quick?
Yeah, I
I
can.
can do that real quick.
Yeah, we can do that real quick.
All right, so I'll start. I'll give you mine. Give you guys time to put yours together if you need. NFC, I have the Eagles winning the East. I have the Bears coming out in the North. I have the Falcons in the South, and I have the Niners in the West. I have the Giants, Seahawks, and Lions all getting wild cards. AFC, I got the Jets in the East, the Steelers in the North, the Jaguars in the South, and the Chargers in the West. I have the Chiefs, Dolphins, and Ravens all making the wild card.
All right. I'll go next. I got Dallas coming out of NFC. I've been saying it all off season. I'm not going to change my mind yet until we start actually seeing games played. I do have both Philly and the Giants taking wild cards in the NFC. I think we have three. Those three teams going back to the playoffs this season. I have the Saints winning the NFC South. I have Detroit winning the NFC North. Is there 3 wild card teams or 2?
3.
There's 3. Okay. I have Minnesota getting that other wild card. I just think they scored so many points again where they have a negative point differential, but they'll still have like 10 or 11 wins again. So I have Minnesota taking that other one. In terms of the NFC West, I'm taking the 49ers. AFC East, I already said, got the Jets. I do think Buffalo makes the wild card. I think Miami makes the wild card too, in all honesty. I think the AFC and NFC East are going to be represented very well in the postseason. In terms of the AFC South, I do have the Jaguars winning that division. The AFC North, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go with Cleveland. I'm going to say Cleveland wins the AFC North. Like Dan actually had a great point about the Ravens injury bug that happens that hit every single season without fail. And I don't know how seriously hurt Joe Burrow is. And and a calf is something that lingers. A calf is like a hammy. It just could linger. So I'm taking Cleveland in the AFC North. In terms of the AFC West, I'm taking the Chiefs. Like, duh.
I don't have the Chiefs. We'll compare at the end of the year. I have the Chargers winning it.
All right. I got the Chiefs. And I have the Chargers as my other wild card team in the AFC. So that's kind of how I got that broken down.
All right. I have Philly winning the NFC East. I don't see how they win anything less than 12-13 games. And I have Dallas and the Giants coming in as wild card teams there. In the NFC North, I have Detroit winning it. I think that their offense is the best, and I have the Bears as the last wild card team there. And then I have the Saints winning the NFC South. And the 49ers winning the NFC West. And for the AFC, I got the Bills holding on to the East with the Jets taking a wild card spot as well as the Dolphins. I have the Chiefs winning the West. I have the Chargers getting the last wild card spot there. The AFC North, I have the Browns right now winning it because I don't think Lamar stays healthy the whole year. If Lamar's healthy the whole year, I'm all in on the Ravens. I don't see it happening this year. And the AFC South, it's the Jaguars. It's a runaway in that one.
Yeah.
I'm the only one who thinks that the Steelers are going to win the North in the AFC.
You might be the ony human outside of Steelers fans.
I just think they're going to get stronger as the year goes on. I think that's what Tomlin does. He's that type of coach. The team rallies around him. The deeper you get into the year, I think they're going to play really strong at the end of the year. I think that's what's going to seal the deal for them.
All right, coolio. All right, I think with that we'll wrap it up. We'll all get back to our Labor Day weekend festivities. My festivities for the day will be doing nothing but playing Baldur's Gate 3. So
I'm going on a boat party on Lake Travis.
That's pretty damn good. All righty. With that being said, thank you guys so much for hopping on here. We were able to do one real quick before week 1 starts. Real football in 5 days, people. It's here. You know, we waited long enough. Very excited. Last weekend without football till February. That makes me happy.
Oh.
All right.